All right, here we are. Welcome to the Grey Man podcast. Fuck, hang on. All right, so today we're doing something a little bit different. Today we've got Luke Morrison. Luke, although not a veteran, works heavily with the veteran community, and so we're doing a little spin-off called Friends of Veterans. So welcome to the show, Luke. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Harley.
No worries. All right, so what we're going to do today is just run it basically exactly the same as I run the veteran podcast. Just get to know you a little bit, talk about your life, what brought you into the game of working with veterans, and what that involves. Cool. So how we roll is start at the beginning. So where were you born?
Born in Brizzy, born and bred. My mum is from New Zealand and dad's from Melbourne, so a bit of a mixture there. But
Kiwi? I didn't know you were half Kiwi.
Yeah, half Kiwi.
That explains a lot.
I've barely been there, so only once or twice.
Whereabouts is she from?
Wellington.
But you were born, you were born here. So how long was she here before you came along?
I think probably 5 or 6 years, and then she moved to this rural town in New South Wales called Tyree. So she spent most of her life there, and then I think got to Brisbane in her early 20s, and then met Dad. So
there you go.
But yeah,
and what do they do? What did they do at the time?
I think they did the same as they do at the time. And at the time, Dad would have been a barman, and Mum would have been working in admin somewhere. Right now, she works as a secretary for agriculture. Dad's always been involved in sport in some capacity, mostly golf courses or racing tracks. So now he
working the bars in those joints.
I mean, like working at bars first, and then he did a diploma or TAFE in greenkeeping, and so he's always been involved in some sort of greenkeeping for either golf courses or racetracks, which then led him to getting into managing a racetrack in Toowoomba, where he is now, and then also getting into racing Queensland. So,
there you go. So where did you grow up? Where did they settle while you were a youngster?
All over Brisbane, really. Forest Lake was where my first house was. Moved.
That's the one next to Anala?
Yeah, Anala, Pollara. So a lot of like current serving sort of live out that way as well.
Sorta.
Yeah, so Forest Lake for probably the first 5 or 6 years of my life, and then they separated, unfortunately. Stayed with Mum in Forest Lake for a little bit, and then we sort of moved a bit more inner city to Tarragindi, Annalee sort of area. Went to school in South Brisbane here. We moved over to the north side in Hurston for a little bit, and then by that point I just started uni. So, and then back on the south side now.
That's it. My life. End of show. Sweet. So you grew up in the dirty south.
Dirty south.
Get any fights?
Nah, not really. One at school, that was it. And it was with my best mate, so can't really call it a fight.
So what school did you go to start?
So from grade 5, it was St. Lawrence's in South Brisbane, just next to the Mater Hospital.
Where it was 1 to 4.
1 to 4 was St. Joseph's in Corinda, which wasn't really close to my home at the time, but I think it was just a nice Christian school that we went to.
Yeah, not many people even know where Corinda is.
No.
I was born in Corinda Maternity Hospital.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, grew up in that little sort of area.
Yeah,
Tennyson. When I was a little wee tucker.
Yeah, so Mum's in Sherwood now, which was like my dream suburb as a kid because it was really nice houses and mansions all along Tennyson as well. And so now she's
bit of a retirement village over there.
Now she's on the dodgy side of Sherwood, but still Sherwood.
On the dodgy side of the tracks. Cool. So you mentioned a bit of sport and stuff in there. Your dad was quite sporty. You got involved?
Yeah, so Dad has always loved footy and soccer and rugby, any sport with a football really from a young age. So he was born in Melbourne, where he played a bit of footy, and his dad was also heavily involved with footy. They moved him and his brothers up here, I think around probably early teenage years for him. And long story short, his dad was treasurer of the Cooper Football Club. His dad passed away pretty early on into Dad's 20s, but probably about 20 years later, I said to Dad, hey, I'm interested in joining this local footy club called Cooperoo. And he was just like perplexed, like, what are the odds of that? So yeah, from all through sort of school and through my childhood playing soccer, and then when I turned 11, 12, got into footy, and have never looked back since.
Nice. And you still play pretty often, I hear.
Still play locally, yeah. I've played for about 12 years now. So about 10 years at Cooper and play at Yeronga now as well. So I still love it. Still love rocking up to training twice a week and playing every Saturday. My dad still loves it as well. He still travels every weekend down from Toowoomba, which is one of the awesome bits of it, that we can share that journey together. Yeah, to watch me play. So
is he involved with the team or?
Sporadically, like he's mates with all the boys and stuff, and he'll volunteer when needed, but he loves the camaraderie of it and watching me play, so it's really nice.
Nice. And what's the AFL season? Is it the same as NRL?
Pretty much, it's 1 week
I guess
behind.
it's not called AFL when you play. What's it called? What's it called? Just on your rules.
Aussie rules, yeah. Yeah, 1 week behind, but it's predominantly a winter sport, so
yeah,
about 16, 17 weeks.
Yeah, and so the amateur leagues go for the same period of time.
Yeah,
same window.
Much. Just a little bit less, but yeah. So
cool. So growing up, you went to South Brisbane. Where'd you go over there? Like one of the private schools?
Yeah, St. Lawrence's, all boys.
All boys school. How was that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I found the education piece of it to be really good, and the opportunities in terms of sporting, community, and education to be second to none, really. I found going to an all boys school. Found going to an all boys school interesting at times. Just like social dynamics and masculinity and that sort of thing. Not to get too political or too deep, but yeah, it was interesting just navigating like popularity and going through puberty and meeting girls at other schools and that sort of thing.
How'd you manage that?
Is mostly the bus stop. So Marta Hill bus stop is right below the school, and you've got like 2 or 3 other girls' schools that go to that bus stop. So lots of socialising there, and there's lots of school dances and stuff as well that the school always encourages, which is good. So there's definitely like a shortage of socialising with other schools and the other gender.
There you go.
Yeah, but definitely an interesting dynamic of just all boys sort of competing against each other.
Competing in what way? Like everything?
In everything.
Making everything a competition?
Yeah, for sure. And it's like that sort of boys will be boys mentality as well of, no matter what you do, you sort of get away with it at a boys' school. And yeah, competing against everything and putting each other down and that sort of thing. So
all the banter.
Yeah, and it's a very sporty school as well. So it was almost, yes, sport was very much encouraged. Which
you played the AFL or fucking Aussie rules in school as well?
Not really in school, because at the time it was just a rugby and soccer dominated school. So there was only one open team, and then now almost 7 8 years later they've got a full on excellence program with the Brisbane Lions supporting it and everything. And yeah, I'm jealous now because there's so many teams now. And back then it was just one open team. They played 3 games a year, and that was.
When you say rugby, you mean rah-rah, not
rah-rah.
NRL,
yeah.
Hey, Union. No siblings?
One brother.
Oh, you do?
28 years.
How old are you? 25?
25.
What's he was along that same journey the whole time with you? With your mum and your dad?
For sure. Yep.
Live with your mum when you did and live with your dad when you did?
Yeah, exactly. So he's a bit of an outcast at times through his teenage years, but as anyone is.
Outcast as in what?
Just like skater, always off doing his own thing. I think throughout my whole early childhood, I used to look at whatever he did and want to do that. So when he started school and I hadn't started school yet, I was up there like doing pretend homework with him and was always following him around. And then, when he probably get a little bit older into 15, 16-year-old, he was off skating and at parties and with mates. And I was a bit like, oh, well, like, what do I do now?
So you didn't start early with him?
No, unfortunately not. But we're very different people. Some people say we look identical. Some people say we don't look related at all. Very different hobbies. He's not very sporty. But in the same way, very similar personalities as well. So
still catch up with him?
Yeah, he's a barber now, so catch up with him for haircuts, obviously, and then we have family dinner every week.
Does he charge you?
Sometimes depends on how the business is going. But I've given him
stop it.
Yeah, I've given him a bit of exercise advice from time to time. So
you charge him?
So just credit in the bank, which is good.
What's his name?
Tom.
Yeah. Tom Morrison.
Tommy Slick, he goes by because of the barber. So,
Slick?
Tommy Slick.
Where's the barbershop?
Sherwood. It's called Black Book Barbershop, just on the main road there near the railway.
Nice. So where do you reside now?
Reside in Coorparoo.
Coorparoo.
Yeah.
So you always stick around that side of town?
Yeah. Love it. Love the inner city, suburban sort of Coorparoo, Morningside, that area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good spot.
Very.
So growing up, I guess looking at that sort of all boys school and stuff, was there a bunch of those sort of kids going to the military?
Not that I know from my particular grade. It was always maybe spoken about between a few people I knew, but no one I know predominantly from school has gone on to be in defence. So
Well, those private schools push more towards law and academia and
definitely, yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think growing up and before uni and school, like the defence was nothing I really knew anything about until I got a job in the industry.
Yeah. What brought you to that job? Just full-time salary?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of things, to be honest. Like, if we want to start at like what brought me to the university degree was just a passion for helping people and a passion for sports and exercise. So obviously, as you studied clinical exercise physiology, I did the same degree as well. And initially, I wanted to study that to get in a sports team and work with an AFL team and that sort of thing. Quickly realized early on that I wanted my own work-life balance, and I didn't really want to mix what I do outside of work with work and just have it 24/7.
Right.
In my last year of placement, I worked at a mental health hospital in Brisbane, which had an exercise physiology clinic. And I sort of found a passion for helping those with mental health needs or going through mental health crises and situations. They also had a veteran program for PTSD as well. So that's where I sort of found a passion for helping those who had served. And that was probably my first exposure to those who had served as well. And it sort of just springboarded from there. Finished uni. There was potentially a job opportunity to work with that hospital. If not, then it was going to be in the near future. And then I obviously was looking for a job post uni, and Mates and Mates was hiring.
I see. So there's no other job aspirations or uni aspirations. It was always just health and fitness, sports, exercise physiology.
To be honest, I didn't know once I finished school. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was really lucky to get a pretty good OP when it was back then. Now it's called ATAR, but I was...
What's your OP?
4. So I was pretty lucky in that regard that I had a number of options, but I I honestly chose Bachelor of Business as just like a throw a dart and see where it lands. It seemed like the safest option, and I think marketing was maybe gonna be my major. And I was probably I'd selected that for 2 weeks, and then I was looking through the catalog again just to be safe, and exercise physiology popped up, and that sounded good. And prior to that, I'd never heard of it, so
Where was this at?
I was at QT.
At Gardens Point.
Yeah, predominantly Kelvin Grove, but Gardens Point for the first year or two, and then Kelvin Grove.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So you did that. How was it? Easy? Hard?
A bit of both.
Any regrets
I think
while you were
so.
doing it?
Well, I was doing it. No, uni lifestyle was awesome. So living at home. I lived like right behind campus, so walked to uni. Had a job in the valley at the local bottle shop, so I was working nights there. I was going to parties, going out, playing footy, and studying in the day or lack thereof, but just scraping by.
Living the dream.
But yeah, and I really enjoyed the uni lifestyle. I really enjoyed the course. The first 2 years were pretty theory based, and then year 3 was a bit of a wake up call into what life in a clinic was like, or what life at a gym was like. My first prac was 4 a.m. starts for group classes, so it was pretty rough. There were a few times I forgot to set the alarm or snooze the alarm too many times. So that first year was an adjustment, but I had a lot of good experiences in both the sporting realm. Did some placement at another private school as well, so doing some S&C there. Did some clinic work at the uni. The uni has a clinic there for a bunch of chronic conditions.
Where were your clinical placements at?
So first one was the uni, and the second one was at that mental health hospital. And then in third year, you do a healthy pop placement. I think UQ does the same. So that was at a clinic in Capalaba, not a clinic, a gym, like a CrossFit fitness gym with EP services and S&C services as well.
In Capalaba.
Yeah.
Bit of a drive.
Yeah, so it was 3:30 wake ups.
Oh, I did my Healthy Pops placement in the Maldives.
The Maldives.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
The Maldives?
Yeah.
I don't know, off the coast of India.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound like it's in Australia.
They offered a group. It was expensive. It cost us like $7,000, I think. But they offered, they put an offer out when we're in third year. Anyone that wants to do their Healthy Pop placement, instead of doing a 6-month, spread it over 6 months, you can do it all in 6 weeks, just in the Maldives.
Yep.
And so pay $7,000 and all expenses paid, food and accommodation, and
Not bad.
it was good. It was a good experience, and it was an experience we couldn't have got anywhere else. I was working with like a strictly Muslim population, so teaching Muslim women how to swim.
Oh, wow.
Some of them were in their 40s and 50s and never stepped foot in the water.
Yeah.
This island was probably, 20 kilometres if you ran around it. And then working with the kids in the afternoon, so doing athletic programs. Well, they play soccer, netball, and track.
So the prerequisite was that you had to know how to swim, obviously.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah,
with noodles at least.
Yeah. Back to the hydro days.
Compared to them, we were bloody Ian Thorpes.
Yeah, true.
Some of the girls actually on the placement. There was I think it was 8 of us, maybe a couple more. 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. Anyway, a couple of the girls were proper swimming athletes, so they helped us out with giving good instruction. And then in the afternoons we would teach the adults, like coaches and local community members and stuff, like health seminars. And we each all of us there, we each did like a 2-hour seminar each.
In English, obviously.
Yeah. They speak really good English, actually, which is surprising, come to think of it, seeing as they don't. They only open tourism up to like full stop to the local islands in like 2008 or something. Like it wasn't that long before we went.
Yep.
Before that, it was strictly locals only.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the price of a holiday. So,
$7,000.
yeah, of a 6-week holiday.
Yeah. 6 weeks? Might have been less than that. Anyway, it was good. But then we got it ticked off for our healthy pops. It was hard work. We had to work, start, 5 o'clock in the morning through to like 8 o'clock at night. There's a couple of hours break in the middle of the day.
Yep.
It was a grind.
Yeah, for sure. Classic.
But at least we got it done.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to you. Did your stuff. Did you hear anything about mates or anything before you applied for that job?
I don't think so. Trying to remember. I'd heard of it for sure, but I knew nothing really about it. It might have been mentioned in my clinical placement because a lot of veterans or current serving who are doing the PTSD program were probably involved in some capacity with mates and mates, or it would probably have been mentioned as an ESO option. But yeah, didn't really know much about it.
Yeah, just so everybody else knows, that's how we first met, mates and mates. I was an exercise physiologist there for 3 years.
When did you start?
2021.
Yep.
I started January 2021. Yeah, something like that. When did you start? 23?
22.
22.
And my first start was COVID, like in the thick of Brisbane COVID 2.0. So my first month or two was work from home.
Oh,
and then we were in
doing all your induction stuff.
And then we're in the centre for maybe 3 months, and then that massive flood again. So it was another 2 months work from home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 1 or 2, I think.
That was in 2022.
Yeah.
That big flood. Yeah, okay.
So it was pretty staggered.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Get a call, pick up your laptop, you'll be working from home.
I was so volatile back in those days, eh? It was like, make sure you always take your laptop home with you in the afternoon, and you'd forget, and then the next day you can't go back to the office and fuck.
I knew people that would go and rescue their laptop.
Yeah, fucking oath. I knew that was on. I went in there when it was underwater.
Yeah, you literally
took photos of the fucking flood coming up the stairs.
that's where we met.
Yeah, so how was that first experience working with the veteran population, working with veterans, working with as in colleagues, and then with as in all of your clients? Yeah,
it's really eye-opening. I suppose a lot of the clients there have been serving for a long time and have either been out for a bit longer, so they've already gone through their initial transition and they're a bit more comfortable with the civilian life. So a lot of older population, which I really enjoyed. Like they're all a bunch of larrikins and they're all super friendly. The team at Mates and Mates was awesome as well, between the EPs and the LOs and psychologists. I think we all had a really good group there and we all got on really well. So, yeah, I made a lot of good friendships there with clients and colleagues as well. The work itself was awesome in just having the routine of social engagement like bike rides and hydrotherapy and coffee catch-ups. It almost didn't feel like work most of the time.
Yeah.
And then to have the massive gym facility we had there as well was awesome, and to train clients and do Pilates and that sort of thing. Yeah, it just felt like...
Yeah. You went through waves, eh? Like there was really good times, really shit times. Feel like,
which I suppose encompasses defense of low tempo, high tempo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and management, I guess in defense you got the officers posting in and out and making changes and same sort of thing within the corporate world. There was always different people coming in and out with different ideas, and people in the head office were making changes and decisions that affected everyone on the ground pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
Made a lot of people leave, and staff were disgruntled and members were disgruntled, and Yeah, although there are a lot of good times and a lot of times we're having massive impact.
Mm.
There was also a lot of times where we felt like our hands were tied and we couldn't do what we wanted to do, and
Yeah.
everyone got the shits. And I think when I was working there first in 2021, so it's kind of COVID had been around for a year, but everything was kind of back to normal by then. And the staff turnover was just out of control. There was, I think we counted like in the month that I was there was over 30 resignations. One of my colleagues was marking them up on the fucking wall with a highlighter. I was like,
Mate's cakes.
What are those little dots for?
Yeah.
Another one, bites of dust. Yeah, Mate's Cakes was a running joke. Fucking start a cake shop across the road for Mates for Mate. You'd be a fucking millionaire.
Yeah, I remember because when I did the interview, I got a tour downstairs and there were people there were clients everywhere in the barbecue area and people using the open gym and just people galore. And then fast forward like a year, it was like closed gym.
Ghost town, yeah.
No one was down in the open air anymore. You'd have one or two maybe drop in, but yeah, bit of a ghost town.
Yeah. What do you reckon the root cause is, other than what I just said?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I tried to steer clear of all the politics and ins and outs of it. I'd probably say a lot of it, like a lot of the social activities eventually became very risk adverse. So a lot of original activities that went ahead just got cancelled. COVID probably a big factor of that as well. But yeah, a lot of risk averse and risk mitigation came into it almost. And yeah, it's hard to put though. But yeah, originally like it was a big organization and they tended to do more bigger picture events, didn't they? Like sailing and
Traveling across the world.
Yeah, like cycling across the world and stuff.
Yeah. Big, huge things.
And then obviously it became
Dakota.
Yeah, exactly. It became more of a local organization, and I think I don't know. It's hard to know. Like you hear stories of how much better it was back in the day with group PT and Hydro and all the bike rides and stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to turn it into a mate slamming fest, but
Of course, yeah.
I did work there for 3 years, and I saw a lot in my time. But I think the biggest takeaway I got from it was that it's become a corporate entity rather than the sort of mates for mates as it sort of originated as, where it was, veterans helping veterans. It became, right, well, now we need a management system, and now we need a HR department, and now we need a marketing team, and now we need a CEO and a CFO and a COO and all this sort of stuff. And obviously they all need money. All those jobs are pretty high paying. So then now we've got this role, now we can't afford this program. And so programs were removed to afford these people, and these people, most of them aren't veterans themselves, and they're making decisions that they don't really understand the ramifications of. And just sort of all the glass house sort of crumbled, I think. The card house. I isolated myself. I isolated myself from all the politics of it for years. As you saw when you come in, I was pretty much already checked out.
Yeah.
But I just invested my entire sole focus into the Soldier Recovery Centre, working with the soldiers on base. And
Definitely.
And then we'd just come back to mates and mates to do my admin and prepare and stuff for the next day of soldier recovery, which people didn't like much. Mates and mates. It was good for me. Built some good relationships and stuff. I felt it was the most important job in the whole fucking industry. Or not the whole industry, but the whole organisation.
As an EP.
Yeah, because I was having more exposure to more people than, you might get 10 people a week in the centre, 10 veterans in a week, but I was seeing, hundreds of soldiers on base. From seminars and stuff. Yeah,
I definitely think as an EP there, you had you're on the ground and you were on SRC, you were also on bike riding activities, you were helping out here. So you had your finger in a lot of areas, which was good exposure for me early on. So, and then doing this 5-day wellness courses as well. That was my first exposure to running a seminar.
Public speaking stuff.
Yes, public speaking, if you call it, and developing material and that sort of thing as well. I felt at times though, like you develop material for like a men's health week and you get 2 participants.
That happened a lot.
Cool.
And then they'd stop coming after the first couple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed that aspect, and yeah, I'm very grateful to have worked there and met lots of incredible people and been exposed to the veteran and defence industry too. So,
I think as far as a job goes in our industry, it's probably the most versatile job where we got them, the budget was so big that we could literally do anything. Like saying those 5-day wellness retreats, which were literally at 4.5-star resorts all around Australia that we...
Yeah. Or even like, going to Hydro, taking the company car, having coffee afterwards. Like,
yeah, shouting everyone coffee.
Probably no other EP job where you have the calendar space to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was good. It was a good job. And unfortunately, I mean, even though all the bad stuff happened, it was definitely got a lot of good memories and good friendships out of it.
Yeah.
I still catch up with the old boys here and there.
Yeah.
Give them a call, see how they're going, or text them, or actually live pretty close to mates. So if I go to the coffee shop here at certain times of the day, I run into people. I ran into the old boot camp the other day and had a coffee.
True. PT.
They're running their own boot camp now. They just rock up and I think old Gaz runs them through something. He's become the trader.
I'm surprised John's not doing it.
Running it?
Yeah, man.
He's doing it.
Yeah, but he's not running it.
It's just the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
As he always was. Cool. So, and that gave you a bit of an appreciation and enjoyed working with that sort of
100%
population.
Yeah, I think, and I'll continue to touch on this on the sort of the power of exercise on mental health and other conditions. But I think from the get go of finishing uni, I noticed that there was an untapped market, or was slowly becoming more relevant, is helping people with mental health conditions or service related conditions through exercise. So I think that was my first experiences with that, and I really enjoyed it and got exposed to a number of different conditions and people going through crises and situations as well. So not only that, but obviously being exposed to the Soldier Recovery Centre on base, which was an entirely different kettle of fish, and focusing more on performance and returning to work rather than just rehabilitation and getting on with life and maintaining some form of capacity on the other foot.
Being the Reaper.
Exactly. That was my first bit of trauma.
What's up, you big bearded beauties? Sorry to interrupt your stream. Just wanted to have a quick chat about Jericho Australia. Jericho deals in top shelf beard care products. They're a veteran owned and run organisation up in North Brisbane. They've got the whole spectrum of beard care products, from your oils, like this one here, Aussie Pride I'm wearing right now. Smells great. Devil's Rum's my favourite though. I've gone through a few of those. That keeps your skin feeling fresh underneath your beard, gets rid of that itch, and if you get dandruff as well. You got your beard butters, which are amazing. Put that on at night time, keeps the beard feeling nice and soft and fluffy. And missus will love it. And you got beard balm as well to tame the mange if you leave the house. They've also got a whole bunch of other stuff. You got some tools like this little handy little pocket brush I got here, pocket comb. They got wicked merch like this T-shirt I'm wearing, bearded, amongst other things. Apparently the cologne is amazing as well. I'm going to get myself some of that. But yeah, you want to try out Jericho, jump on this code. So it's jerichoaustralia.com/discount/the Grey Man Podcast. Jump on, and that'll give you 15% off your cart, and you're good to go. Cheers. So why don't you tell everyone why we called you the Reaper? I'll leave you in charge for one day.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Yeah, definitely.
You killed 2 people, was it?
Just the one.
Killed one and put the other in hospital?
No, but no.
Or was that 2 different days?
Yeah, true. I was going to put 2 people in hospital. So
let's get a message going, Harley, help us. Come back. The Reaper's trying to take us out.
Yeah, so I had done a little bit of shadowing of you down there, but very limited, and I wasn't running any sessions or anything. And you went away for a week, and I was in charge. I thought, great. And yeah, you given me the program, and I was following that. And the first day, some bloke tore his Achilles right off the bone. Just going.
Poor bastard.
Yeah,
he was doing so well too.
Yeah, we were just playing basketball, and he just went to push off that foot and tore the Achilles off the bone. I thought, fuck, okay, that's not a great start, but I'm not really responsible, I guess. And then, the next day, we're running a sauna session, and it was 2 groups, and one group would do the sauna for, I think it was probably 15-minute straight sauna, while the other group was on the watt bikes, and you'd rotate. And so I thought I'll go with the sauna group first, and sort of just in interchange between them, just keep an eye on both groups. And I didn't really know any of these people at all, really. It was first or second time meeting them, and dude ended up collapsing after he got out of the sauna, and I was on the floor convulsing a little bit and struggling for a bit there. And I was way out of my depth there. I'd never been exposed to anything like that, and I was just lucky that a lot of the soldiers there sort of had done some sort of basic training or first aid.
They all do, yeah.
Yeah, and they sort of knew to step in straight away and get them into recovery and everything. And they're all things you're taught at uni and with first aid and CPR and whatnot. But once you
it's a bit more hectic when it's in happening in real life.
Happening in real life there. So yeah, it was traumatic, but that's why I'm called the Reaper. So, obviously the guy was okay and everything. So
yeah, they all survived.
Yeah.
The guy that's torn Achilles is pretty good spirits about it all. And the other kid lived.
Yeah.
We had another episode with the ice bath.
Yeah.
We've had a sauna episode and an ice bath episode.
So going from sauna to ice bath, or just in the ice bath?
So the sauna one, so both times it was just single. So it was just sauna to sauna was your episode.
Yep.
And the other one, I think I was inside. Yeah, I was in my office, which changed all of the rules and protocols for ice bath use.
Yeah.
Because one of the guys who's actually a mate of mine now, he was just mad dogging it, going, fucking, you do 2 minutes in the ice and then he'd get out, and then somebody else wouldn't want to get in. So he's like, don't be a pussy, it's like this. And he'd jump in again. And then so he was just doing back-to-back ice baths. And then I think it was the third or fourth one, he fucking salmoned out and fucking had a seizure and wasn't responsive. And had to get rushed to the hospital. So the next day,
the one where you put the blanket over it?
Yeah, space blanket. Yeah,
that was that one.
Yeah, Suze was there to save the day.
Yep.
Someone come running in. Oh, our mate's fucking dying. But next day there was a list on the wall of all ice bath protocols.
Yeah.
Can't have it below 8 degrees and you can't go in for more than this long. And
yeah, well, it's interesting because there's not really that many protocols out there on how long or how cold you should have it.
No, the ice bath's a bit of a it's weird, eh? Obviously I've got one here that I use pretty often, but the whole when to use it, how long to use it for, what are the exact benefits, it's all a bit of a mystery.
Same with the sauna too. I saw somewhere it was or maybe you told me this, that depending on the temperature, so say that it's 1 degrees, you shouldn't be in it for longer than a minute. If it's 5 degrees, you shouldn't be in it for longer than 5 degrees. So
5 minutes. No, I didn't tell you that.
Okay. I made it up.
There's an ice bath you're talking about?
Ice bath, yeah.
There's lots of studies on the sauna because it's fucking been around for 100 years in Finland and that.
Yeah.
They've done full 25-year studies or 30-year studies over there that shows all-cause mortality, dramatic increases fucking 25-30% or something like that.
Yep.
Real strong effects on the heart and all the systems. But the ice bath, it's kind of a new fad, although they're trying to pump out the science. It's like the COVID vaccine. It's fucking
still bro science at this stage.
Yeah, it's all bro science. Like,
yeah, but like with anything, like what's good for you is also bad for you if you do it too much or you push yourself.
Be. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's fucking cold exposure. You can die.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be careful.
Yeah.
I did it every day for 6 months last year when I first got mine. And every morning I wake up and get in the ice bath and then get ready for work, go to work. And after 6 months, I felt no change.
Yeah, right.
I was like, after six months, I'm going to feel like a significant difference.
Yeah.
The only thing I sort of noticed was I wasn't, it would wake me up. Like I would be awake.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be sluggish in the morning. I'd be fully alert.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's a benefit.
Yeah. But also, it's fucking cold, especially in winter, driving to work and I'm still shivering. I do more of the contrast these days.
Yeah. And like compared to that, like maybe a 15, 20-minute workout would have the same effect for energy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And, there's all the dopamine. Well, they say there's the brown fat advantages. So it activates the brown fat. So you lose that, muscle and fucking fat that's surrounding your organs and stuff, the visceral fat, which obviously is a massive benefit if it's true. But I don't know, I guess you'd have to do some sort of visceral fat testing to find out. And everybody's body responds differently as well. So maybe if it works for me, it doesn't work for someone else.
Do you find the sauna to be more beneficial?
I just find it more enjoyable to do both. Like if you just do the ice bath, like it sucks.
Yeah.
And then you get out and you're cold for half an hour. Or if you do the sauna as well, like I find that I enjoy doing the contrast, so I just do that now.
And you still finish with ice every time?
Finish with ice, yeah. Yeah. But I think because I've been hot, like I kind of enjoy the ice more.
Yeah.
Fuck knows what the benefits are.
Yeah. Feels good.
I know there's like the vasoconstriction and, we're both fucking exercise scientists. We can understand the physics of it, where you've got vasodilation versus vasoconstriction. So it's pushing the blood into the peripheries and stuff, which is obviously good, especially if you're sitting all the time, you got a desk or whatever, and your blood's not really flowing as optimally as it should be. I'm sure you'll remember to move stuff. You go for a walk or go for a jog, get that blood flowing, which the contrast would do the same sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, fucking how we get onto that? Oh yeah, you're killing people. So yeah, fucking working with veterans, working with defence. So Mates and Mates was your first veteran exposure. Working for the SRC, Soldier Recovery, was your first active defence exposure. And then what? You fucking can't get enough of it now. You love
much, it. Yeah. I think,
Where'd you go after Mates and Mates?
So I went to Queensland Sports Med Centre.
Ah, that's right.
Gabba, so I just.
And what's the pop there? It was
healthy pop. A lot of sports players, like, local sports players who've done ACLs or stress fractures and that sort of thing. So I was just wanting a bit more diversity with conditions and just being exposed to a bit more sports rehab and S&C, which is kind of contradictory to what I said earlier about not wanting to work within the sports realm. But I felt at the time that was going to be a bit just give me more exposure to musculoskeletal conditions and a bit more acute rehab as well, which it definitely did. And I enjoyed my time there as well. It was really good to see some complex ACL injuries and lumbar stress fractures and, random sporting injuries. Made a lot of contacts and a lot of connections there as well. And I loved the clients I worked with just as much there. But then, I got to a point where I sort of wanted the next challenge and found myself back in defence.
Yeah. Well, it's a kind of it is a step up for sure.
Yeah.
When you think about the careers of an EP, you can be a clinician forever and you're on minimum wage and fucking split shifts and shitty hours and, it's a bit of a grind. So you've moved into the consulting world now.
That's it. I couldn't stay away from you. So
for me, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going for the job and then I messaged you and you're like, yeah, I've just gone for the same one at the same company. I was like, great. So
that's right, yeah. Yeah, there was one position at the start that I took.
Yeah.
And then you came in later. Yeah, so we both work for Acumen Health for defence, on-base rehab, on-base consultant. Cool. How do you find that? You work for One Ridge, I think, still at One Ridge?
Yeah, One Ridge, yeah. Yeah, really good. I find it's a really good work-life balance for myself. The hours are great. The work is pretty straightforward. It's still primarily a people-facing role and helping people. So you're not just behind a desk your whole day. You're out and about seeing people, meeting with doctors and supervisors and members and attending appointments with them as well. I think there's lots of ways you can look at it, but I sort of look at it in a way of, obviously I'm guiding and assisting someone in their rehabilitation, whether that's returning to work or separating from the workplace, and just being a consultant, obviously guide them on their health journey, be a sounding board for them as well, and just advise them of what they're entitled to, what they can access within defence, and
helping any way you can.
Here to help. That's one of my.
How do you find that they respond to you being a civilian? Do you feel like you've done enough in defence to break down that wall?
I think so. I've never really tried to focus on that. Even when I first started at Mates and Mates, I came into it like knowing that there's probably going to be a barrier, and especially having a baby face like myself. A lot of people are going to be like,
a baby face killer.
Yeah, what the fuck's this kid doing here? But I've just tried to sort of not focus on that too much, and I've always drawn on my own experiences with mental health and my own experiences in the workplaces as sort of the reason why I'm there and why I've got the job, rather than my lack of experience serving or experience working within the veteran community or the Defence Force. So I've never really noticed it at my current job. It's definitely still a big shock just learning all the defence terminology and how the defence runs, but I think I've got a solid grasp of it now. But at the same time, always learning, so always asking for advice from my members.
There's a lot to learn. I was saying to our boss when I started, fucking hell, it must be a massive learning curve to come in here without defence experience with all the acronyms and there's like the entire army's based on acronyms.
Yeah. And like I think they thought at the time, like I've got the SRC and Mates and Mates experience, I'll sort of be a little bit further ahead, but that's not how I felt. I felt like I can't remember shit from back then, and I knew nothing.
Yeah. I suppose if you were at SRC, but you're still mainly working at Mates, you didn't need to learn the lingo.
No, and I think back then I had no idea like why they were downgraded. I knew why they were downgraded, but I didn't know about the downgraded system or what they were trying to achieve in terms of upgrading, and why they were here for 8 weeks instead of at their usual role. Like I didn't really have the context behind it until you're fully immersed in it now, and you're like, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, 100%. Just before you were just working with the injury, now you're working within defence health systems.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a whole nother fucking language to learn as well.
Yeah.
On top of defence. There's plenty of people that have been in defence for 20 years that don't understand the fucking defence health.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's massive. You were saying that what brought you to the industry, to mental health, wanting to work with mental health is your own mental health journey. And that was prior to Mates and Mates and prior to wanting to work with veterans and prior to being an exercise physiologist, you've dealt with your own stuff?
Yeah, I probably dealt with my journey from when I was about 11 or 12 onwards. Just started experiencing some pretty significant anxiety, mostly around going to school and going to school, being outside, those sort of things. And I suppose those symptoms had been prevalent through most of my childhood. Like I've always been a pretty anxious kid, and it just got to a point where it festered up and I was unable to go to school for a term or two. And at the time, like my parents didn't really know what to do or how to help, and mental health wasn't a very talked about topic at the time as well. So it was quite a struggle to get some support and go through many different psychologists and doctors and psychiatrists as well. So,
what year was this that you weren't at school for a couple of months, couple of terms?
grade 7. So,
Was that at the boys' school?
yeah, boys' school. So yeah, it was pretty troubling time, and I suppose from being too anxious to go to school and go outside, and not engaging with a lot of my friends and stuff as well, that led to a fair bit of depression too from just being at home and doing nothing all day as well. So
I was going to say that. What were you doing all day?
Yeah, I can't even remember, to be honest. Like, probably.
Were you doing homeschooling or anything? Or?
No. So I think all up, it was probably a term or two. And that was, kind of just sitting at home, watching movies, playing with Lego, that sort of thing. And
what would happen if you did go to school? Did you try here and there?
Yeah, so it was probably, it wasn't one specific incident or event that led to me saying I just can't go to school. It was just a build up of little things, and I just noticed that I was getting more and more anxious going to school, or I was getting anxious being in a classroom environment, and I was always quite reactive to teachers. Like, I would hate to be in trouble as a kid, or I would hate to be spoken like I was in trouble or spoken down to. So I think that just got more and more hard to take, and it got to a point where I just got up one day and I said, like, I can't go to school. And what that looked like was me sitting at the front gate in the car, just refusing to get out of the car. So it was pretty tough at the time, and I think the first day that happened, just took a sick day, and then the next day, like, made up some stomach bug so I didn't have to go to school. And there were definitely a lot of times that we tried to return to school, and it just didn't work.
Was this with your dad?
Mum.
And how did she respond?
Like, awesome. Like, she was always there for me, and at the start she was very caring and very supportive, and I'll do anything to help make you feel better, and if you need time off, great. And then as the weeks and months went on, it was time to sort of pick up and get back. But she shopped around for psychologists. She shopped around for help for me. She sat in countless psychology sessions with me. There were times where I just was sort of too stubborn to even talk to the psychologist. So yeah, she was awesome. And Dad was as well. Like, Dad was in the picture the whole time too. He just lived in another city, but he was super supportive of where I was at, and the big thing through most of it was just them telling me that they're there for me no matter what, and they'll support me and get me back to it. So yeah, there were a lot of times that I attempted to return to school. We trialed a different classroom, different teachers, and that all, like, helped to a degree. And I think just
Do you think what you were telling me before about the all boys banter and trying to one up each other and stuff had an input on it, or was...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think at the time it did. I think that just came with later years. And I wouldn't say I struggled at school in later years. It's just looking back at it now, you notice that people behave a certain way. And I look back at the way I've behaved as a 13, 14-year-old as well, and I'm not happy with how I behaved and how I tried to rise in the popularity ranks and treated people as well. But I think that's almost just the nature of being in an all boys competitive environment. So
how'd you get yourself out of the I'm not going funk?
Out of the rut, yeah. It was a lot of psychology sessions, experience, like, going to many different ones and trying to click with the right person. I was on medication for a long time as well, which just helped me stabilize, and just be in sort of that bandwidth where you're not feeling extremely anxious all the time or extremely depressed as well.
Was there like a breakthrough moment with a psychologist that you can think that helped you break the cycle?
Not that I can remember. No, it's probably just the result of a lot of hard work. It's kind of like that iceberg analogy of It doesn't melt until a certain point, but it's the whole time it's melting and getting to that break point almost. But yeah, not a breakthrough that I can think of. But yeah, eventually, like the school was awesome in helping me as well and in letting me change classes, and my mates were awesome as well. I think the big breakthrough at the time was probably joining my local footy club. I wasn't really playing sport outside at the time, but joining the footy club was great in just allowing me to do something outside of the house and outside of school and meet new people, which I probably hadn't done for a long time. So
That's awesome. So when you joined the footy club, it was during this period of
yeah, it was during this period. So sort of an outlet, obviously, and
whose idea was that?
it was always my idea to join. I remember the first session, I didn't get out of the car either. And my dad always says when we went to sign up to play, I was in line and I said, no, I can't do it. And he was like, yeah, that's fine, no matter, all good. And then I got in the car and I changed my mind and said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And yeah, first session, I didn't get out of the car. Second session, I asked a mate who I knew was playing to come down with me, so had that support. But yeah, around that time, I was sort of just re-engaging with some sort of social connection and some sort of exercise with people my age, and I think that really helped. So
Yeah, definitely can imagine that would help. That's good though. You got your parents are both so supportive and helped you get through that.
yeah, definitely. Like they've been supportive throughout my whole life, and I'm sure they'll continue to be sounding boards and always there for me. So
Do you think that's like an innate thing in you that you're just highly strung, sort of anxious, or there was, childhood events or traumas or divorce or?
I wouldn't put it down to the divorce or any events or anything. I think as I go through adult life and continue with therapy to this day, I think I've just always been a bit of a highly strung person. And it's in my innate personality, and there's varying levels of it. I think there has to be some level of it in my parents as well, and whether that's passed on from them from their parents or that sort of thing maybe. There's been times I've spoken through my childhood and schema therapy and that sort of thing, and trying to find out why I am. But I sort of look at it now like whatever's happened has happened. There's no point going back to the cause of it and try and find out why it happened. I'm here now and I want to continue doing the best I can.
Live for the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, so you definitely got a bit of an understanding then. How long were you medicated for?
Still am. So
Okay.
10, 12, 12 years. So yeah, I've been medicated.
Anti-anxiety sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, and I sort of on the path to weaning off it, which I've been trying to for the last couple of years as well, which hasn't gone as smoothly as I'd hoped. A few times I've sort of just gone AWOL and gone off it without reducing the dose or anything.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Terrible. So,
What happened? Go into a shell.
Yeah, just a mix of situation or a mix of personal stresses. But I think the first time I went off it, I was really confident. I had support, so I was working. Obviously, I'd playing footy, exercising regularly. So from the outset, it looked like everything was fine, and I just went off it. And I think around the time there was a lot of stuff on the Ukraine war was starting, and I just became super depressed and super anxious about things outside of my control, like the Ukraine war and potential of war on our doorstep. And I think at that point it was very low for a lot of weeks. So very quickly went back on the dose just to stabilize a little bit, and then just try and engage in more psychology sessions and supports around me. So that was probably the first time. And then a year later, I sort of just got really slack with taking it. And it got to a point where I'm like, oh, I probably haven't taken my medication for 3 or 4 weeks, so I'll just continue on with it. And yeah, there was a boozy night out with my mates, and the next morning just woke up like with extreme anxiety and regret, and like probably the most anxiety I've experienced as an adult. In addition to that, sort of going through a relationship breakdown with my partner at the time, so going through a big life change, and that just led to probably 2 or 3 months of just not knowing what the future held, being anxious all the time, just being worried about different things, and then at the end of that was probably the breakthrough to where I'm at today of just knowing who I am, and knowing that getting regular help and being proactive with psych and other strategies are probably really important. So
Yeah. But after that hangover, you went back on the meds?
Yeah.
Is it like a daily thing?
Daily thing, yeah. So, but at the moment it's so I've always been on like the one. I think I went back on a double dose after that hangover and breakdown. And since then, over the past 2 years, I've slowly been weaning down to 1.5 dose to 1 to 0.75 to 0.5. So now I'm on about the 0.25 to 5.
Okay.
So
Getting there.
yeah, which is not, there's not really that much like proper research out there about how to effectively taper medications like this.
Anti-trading, it's
Yeah.
pretty much sounds exactly how you do it.
Yeah, but like, I've asked advice from psychiatrists before, and they haven't given sort of much guidance. I've asked advice from my doctor before, and it's kind of just been like, just like decrease every couple of months, see how you feel.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
very vague.
Yeah, very. And I suppose lots of healthcare is as
I
well.
guess so, yeah.
But trial and error. So the goal for the end of this year is to be off medication.
Cool. So that's how it manifests itself, is it? With like worrying about external things that you really have no control over?
Definitely. I think, as a kid, it was worrying about school. It was worrying about, going outside and being robbed or being killed and that sort of thing. I think around the time my anxiety started, it was like that whole 2012 end of the world doomsday thing.
2012?
Yeah, like the Mayan calendar.
I thought that was in 2000.
There was 2000, there was 2012 one as well.
I probably didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of anxiety around that. It's like a 12-year-old, which is just bizarre. And then fast forward to about a year or two ago, it was all resolved around my own health. And for some reason, I was just hell-bent on and wondering what's wrong with me. And, I'd get an unusual rash on my back. I was like, okay, I've got cancer. I need to go to the doctor straight away. And I just became a huge hypochondriac. And that went on for a few months, thinking I had every condition under the sun, basically. So there's a lot of therapy in that regard, and just identifying things that are out of your control and things that are in your control, and a lot of grounding and just a lot of journaling and stuff like that. So I learned a lot of good strategies, and like mentally, I'm in a place now where I honestly think that I can get through anything because of the experiences that I've been through, and that's probably a naive perception to think that I can get through anything, but I'm mentally like in a really good spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's huge, man. I didn't know that was going on under the surface there.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few coffees here and there about it. I think around the time my relationship breakdown, we've caught up and we've spoken about it. But yeah, obviously a lot of history behind it.
Yeah. I definitely knew there was some issues there, but you know, we've all got stress and anxiety and stuff sometimes. But to be over dramatizing and thinking about all those things out of your control, that's definitely not something that we all experience.
For sure. So, but shapes who I am today. I've wouldn't take back those experiences. I'm grateful to have been through them and built resilience through them, and just being able to know I've got the support of all my family and friends, and to know that I can get through tough times and make my way out of it.
Tough times make strong people. That's good. Gives you the not the condition is good, but it's good that you've come out so strong on top of it. And like you said, alluded to earlier on, I think was gives you the insider knowledge of what a lot of people are experiencing as well.
Yeah.
As we know, with the defence community, stress and anxiety, PTSD, and the plethora of mental health conditions that can arise. And I think that's one of them, the overstimulation and worried about things out of your control.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, that's not to say I'm on top now and I never drop again. Like, mental health isn't linear. It's a journey, not just an end state. So
Yeah, definitely. Roller coaster.
yeah.
Yeah, you can have all the strategies in the world, and then something will happen. The rug will get ripped out from under your feet, and you're fucking on the floor again.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, just going through those ups and downs makes you more aware and more strong as time goes on.
For sure.
Cool. So, what I wanted to say, what was it? Based on your last job. Oh, biggest takeaway from working with the veterans at Mates for Mates.
I guess probably is, and to touch on your point, just that you said before, is there's so much that you don't know about someone, you know, from your daily interactions with them. So there could be a lot hiding underneath the surface. There could be so much going on for someone that you have no idea what's going on. So, you know, just be kind to people. Treat people how you want to be treated. Always offer a helping hand, basically. So
that's huge.
And I think from my first job at Mates and Mates, that's where the anxiety started to spike up a little bit as well, and thinking that I am responsible for someone's whole healthcare and responsible for their outcomes, and that I need to take ownership for everything as well, which is completely the wrong way to look at it. So the big lesson I learned from like my first job was you're not as responsible for things as you think you are, and you can't control what people do. You're not you can't control everything. So.
Yeah, small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, 100%. Just part of their journey.
We can advise, but ultimately it's up to them to make the decisions and make the changes and take on board what we said.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to find it for themselves, right?
100%.
And working with current serving military now, what's your take on that? What do you reckon you've learnt or gained or taken away from this time?
It's a whole nother ballpark in what my role is, and rather than just rehabilitating them physically, it's more so about helping them navigate either getting back to work or separating or just finalizing a bit of a goal, I think, initially. And it's not super specific to veterans, but this job has made me realize like the impact of just short, medium and long-term goals, and one thing at a time. So if you've got this massive situation unfolding or crisis and a bunch of health conditions and say a bunch of other stresses, you've just broken up with your partner or you've lost your house or something, the importance of short, medium and long-term goals of what do I have to do this week? What's the most important thing to me this week? And for a lot of people, that might just be focusing on yourself, getting rid of all the work distractions or other distractions, and just focusing on this one day and how am I going to get the best out of today. So
good advice.
Yeah, and I could liken that to my own situations in the past of worrying about everything in the whole damn world and how it's going to affect me, and I should just look in my own backyard a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, in terms of working with current serving, what have I learnt? It's a massive organisation, and So much that I've learned and I'm still learning as well. I think there's so much support within the organisation that people should utilise while they're in, and so many services and almost like so many ways to get ahead with your life while you're in defence as
fucking
well.
oath.
Yeah.
Don't just go field and get drunk. Fucking take advantage of all the support systems.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, it seems like such a good job and way to set your life up and experiences and people to meet as well.
Well, that kind of fucking touches on the next question. So I've got two questions that I ask everybody. Most people are veterans, so the first one doesn't apply to you. But the second one kind of, it can apply to you because you work so closely with vets and current serving members. If you could give a piece of advice to somebody that's about to leave defence, what would that be?
Definitely be utilise everything you can in the lead up to it. If it's, utilising your transition officer, your rehab consultant, doing all your final medical and dental. Dental is not cheap in the civvy world. If it's housing, if it's support services, like just be proactive with all of these because coming from a civvy, it's eye-opening on how much support there is available, even within the workplace. Like a lot of people, when they're separating, they might alienate themselves from the workplace a bit or just be a bit disengaged, but the support from within your workplace of your chaplains and your supervisors and your unit welfare officers, they're all there to help. So I'd encourage anyone to make the most of their last month or year in defence if they're getting out.
Yeah, 100%. It's pretty easy to bury your fucking head in the sand, but if you pull it out and fucking put yourself into all the systems and stuff, there's a lot there for you.
Yeah, and not to say that won't be there once you get out. A lot of those entitlements are there for 2 years post. But yeah, get ahead while you can.
Yeah, and based on what all the things can go wrong, just because you work in rehab, so you're working with people that have had physical, mental injuries and they're on their way out, pushed out or choosing to leave, mostly pushed out medically. What would be your biggest advice to people that are going into the military to not end up on this medical discharge journey?
Yeah, follow a plan. I think touches on the previous one in that there's a lot of support, but if you're a young digger and you've just been injured, you go see the doc, see the physio, but there's so many classes and programs and plans that you can get yourself on so that you're here at this time, you're doing your rehab, then there's another class, hydro, that sort of thing. So follow a plan.
I mean, not how do you fucking maximize your rehab journey? How do you not get fucking on the rehab journey?
How do you not get on the rehab journey?
Yeah, how do you avoid those injuries? What's the best sort of method of attack to be a good, healthy, resilient, strong soldier and not end up fucking on the medical discharge journey?
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough. Prevention is the best form of treatment. So doing everything you can to maximize your health, both physical and mental. A lot of people wait before they're doing not so great mentally to see a psych. What's the one sec. What's wrong with seeing, a psych while you're mentally healthy, being proactive with your health? It's, in my eyes, it's an investment to go see someone like a psych or a mental health clinician.
Yeah.
In terms of your physical health, staying on top of a good routine, getting a good mix of cardio, mobility, weights, recovery as well, as we touched on earlier with the sauna and the ice bath. Just once again, following a plan, but being proactive with your health.
And what sort of proactive steps could someone take to learn those tools? Like, if all you're doing is getting flogged and doing ruck runs and deadlifts and shit, what steps can they take to find those methods?
In the army or externally?
In the army. You haven't seen those avenues or worked through that sort of
not
stuff yet?
really. I just deal with those who are already broken.
Yeah.
We've spoken before about like maybe the SRC or something similar for those as a prehab sort of thing, haven't we?
Yeah, obviously that would be fucking amazing if people learnt those tools. What I'm sort of trying to edge at, I guess, is just being an exercise physiologist, seeing all the things that can go wrong. Like you said before, just prehab, like getting all the tools for recovery and not just getting flogged and then just go and drink beer and fucking talking shit with the boys. But what can you do? Which is like obviously do your recovery. Don't have that first beer until you've had a protein shake and a fucking sauna. You know, take some steps for yourself and don't just pay it off thinking that you'll always be young and fit and strong. Like 10 years from now, do you want to be the guy that's a fucking superstar that's going to be a paramedic or a cop? Or do you want to be the guy that's fucking getting wheeled out in a wheelchair because your body's fucking cool? Which is, you know, we both see both of those examples day to day.
Yeah, so I suppose get ahead. There's never been a better time to start than today in having a good strength program, doing consistent cardio, great nutrition, doing consistent mobility and recovery as well. So yeah, you may feel great at 18 or 19 getting in there, but you'll soon start to pay the price a bit. So
fucking oath. Never seen so many 25-year-old geriatrics in my life.
Oh, 100%. So
speaking of, fucking hell, rehab tools, prehab tools. You've got a little appy app, don't you?
Not an app yet, but yeah, a little Insta TikTok.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I'm probably from start of last year, I wanted to do something on the side, and I've always been a big advocate for mobility and doing recovery techniques and doing that 1% extra. So I've started to put up some videos and some advice on managing injuries and niggles and that sort of thing, and also building like a strong and resilient body so that you can deal with the demands that life places on you, or what your job places on you, and what your local sport places on you as well.
So this is targeted at anybody and everybody?
Yeah, everyday Joes. It's not targeted at anyone super athletic or super elite. It's more so the everyday athletes who are maybe training consistently and want that 1% extra to recover a little bit better, or they have a little areas of weakness that have been identified and they just need to improve their hip mobility or their ankle mobility, or they've got some niggles that they want to get on top of.
And have you got niggles and stuff that has triggered this, or have your mates have come to you with
plenty?
Please help? Or?
It's a bit of both. So yeah, playing local footy, always have mates come to me and say, "What can I do for this? What can I do for that?" And yeah, myself, bunch of niggles in multiple ankle sprains, some dodgy knees, some tendinopathy in the knees. Dodgy shoulders as well. So the way I keep on top of that is regular mobility, managing my running loads, keeping good nutrition, and just making sure I move well and load well as well.
Cool. So remember to move.
That's it.
We'll chuck your Insta bio in the comments. Or down below, wherever they fucking put it, in the text box underneath the video, so people can track you down. Do you have like a paid program, or you just
free for now? So get a hold of it while you can. So yeah, it's a free resource. About 10 to 12 general mobility exercises specifically aimed at running. If you're getting into running, or you're running and just want to stay injury free and stay feeling good, waking up good. Don't want to wake up stiff and sore. So with the goal to eventually sell specific programs for knee pain or lower back pain, lower body injuries, specifically the feet and the ankles as well.
Nice. That's definitely something that could as we were talking about, benefit fucking soldiers taking the initiative to jump online and find some of that rehab sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get them through the days of the long marches and fucking big runs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the big thing that I want to advocate for is this stuff takes 10 minutes a day. So you can do it at Mornos. You can do it in between periods of sitting at your desk. You can do it of a morning. You can do it just before you go to bed as well. So there's no set time you need to do these programs. It's when you feel like you need to, or if you want to get ahead of the ball.
There's really a black and white difference, with the people that do it and the people that don't. Like, fucking people that just sit around all day, in between instruction will just fucking scroll on their phone versus the people that take that initiative to go to the gym or go to the oval and do that fucking 10, 15, 20 minutes of rehab stuff.
Yeah.
You can just see the fucking the elite soldier versus the potato.
Yeah, you can definitely see the people who are keen to do it and just want to get better at every opportunity.
Yeah. Just take every bit of advice on board and fucking and do it and put it into practice. You can just see how much better off they are for it.
Yeah.
But no, good advice. That's about all I got for you, bro.
Thanks, Holly boy.
Got anything else you want to add?
No, that's all
Any
good.
other plugs? You got some merch?
Yeah, I got some merch, got some running hats.
Where do you get those on Insta as well?
Insta as well. We'll link it. Got some lifestyle hats as well.
Got some shirts?
No shirts yet. But yeah, thinking down the track, maybe some socks and some shirts and maybe even a yoga block or mat. So just to aid with your programming. So
if you give me a shirt, I'll wear one on a pod.
Good. You're not a hat guy, are you?
Yeah, I wear hats.
Yeah, I wear hats.
I've got a little collection going.
Nice.
Yeah. I just don't have any that I really want to rep at the moment.
I feel like if you want.
Maybe. I don't know about those little flat hats. I like the trucker caps.
Yeah, fair.
Get one of those. I'll wear it.
I'll make a specific trucker hat. Just
just one off.
Just one off.
All right. Sounds good, bro. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Alec. Good
Catch
to be
up.
here.